So the next concept which we need to study out over here is about, see, in order to open up an application, we used a get method, which is a driver.get URL. Whatever the URL you would like to open, you will specify here automatically, and that particular URL will be opened. Right, automatically that particular URL will be opened by our WebDriver. So the point out over here is, okay, so the point out over here is we can open an application using either driver.get or driver.navigate to. Okay, we can either open this one using any of these two commands. Okay, we can open it using any of these two commands. What is the difference between these two? Okay, so what is the difference between these two? So the difference between these two is, okay, so get command will simply open up the application. Usually it will wait whether the page got loaded or not. Whereas moving on to a navigate to command, it is having a functionality to move either the forward page or else a backward page. Also, it's gonna store the cookies information. Navigate to is a command which we are using. Okay, so driver.navigate.to URL, which is a command we are using which we can achieve navigate back, forward operations. We can perform this as it is capturing cookies information. As it is capturing the cookies information, we can achieve this. Okay, as it is capturing the cookies information, we can achieve this. Fine, done up to here, guys. As it is capturing the whole cookies information, we can either navigate to previous page or else a forward page and other stuff. Great, done up to here. So once we are done up to here, okay, once we are done up to here, the next point what we need to consider is a method chaining. Okay, so what exactly a method chaining is? Why we are using this method chaining concept? See, the simple point out over here is basically on a one method output, we are performing another operations. An example for this one is, here we used driver dot find element by dot id, right? That's what we used here. Dot send keys command, right? See here, driver dot find element is the first method. It is returning one output. On that particular output, we are performing a send keys operation. Usually, we know that driver.find element is a command which will identify an object. So driver.find element contains object information. In other words, we can consider it as a web element. Okay, in other words, we can consider it as a web element. So driver.find element by .id is a web element which contains object information. It is identifying a unique object on a browser. On that the unique object, we are performing a send keys operation. So it means if you clearly observe, this is a one method. On the output of this particular method, we are performing another operation which we can call it as a method chaining. It's a simple concept. One method outputs, we are performing some other operations. Okay, on one method output, we are performing some other operations. Okay, fine. Done up to here. And then the another point is, okay, once we are done up to here, the another point which we need to consider is about a Windows maximize. We have two different sets of commands. One is a window maximize command directly, or else I can set the dimension to which my browser should be maximized. I can set the dimension as well. And then we noticed that senkeys is a command which is used to enter a value, and even we can perform any kind of a keyboard operation using senkeys. And as a senkeys is a command which will append a value, hence we are using a clear command to clear the value from that field. Okay, we are using a clear command in order to clear a value from that particular text field. So before using a senkeys command, we are using a clear command. And click is another command which we already discussed. In order to perform a click operation on a link, a button, image, whatever it might be, we are using this click command. And then here, if you remember the yesterday's topic, at the end, I am using a thread.sleep which is used to stop the script for some time. Thread.sleep is a command which we are using in order to stop the script for some time. Whereas driver.quit, in order to terminate the browser, we have a quit command and a close command too. So we have two different commands. One is a quit and another one is a close. So quit will call dispose a method. Okay, quit is a command which internally will call a dispose a method, which in turn closes all the browser instances and it will end up the WebDriver session. Dispose is a method internally, it is a calling which is ending up the WebDriver session. Okay, which is ending up the WebDriver session. Whereas a close is a command on which browser your WebDriver execution is, it will close the browser. For suppose whenever you are executing a program, if you click on a link, it opened 4 windows. And as of now, we are working on 4th window only. Then using this close command, it will close 4th window. It won't close remaining 3 windows. Whereas here quit, whenever we use a quit, it will close all the browser instances which were launched by WebDriver. So it means if at all like you open one browser manually, your WebDriver won't close that instance. What are all the instances which were launched by WebDriver, our WebDriver will recognize that and it will terminate those instances. Okay, cool. Am I clear for everybody, or do you have any questions for me on this? Cool. Done up to here. Done, guys. Okay. Is this point clear for everybody? Cool. So once we are done up to here, the next point is okay. The next point which we need to cover out over here is about So I have given a brief example about a quit and all these things. Scenario is handling of checkboxes. Scenario handling of drop downs. Okay, handling of a checkboxes and as well as a handling of a drop downs. So how can we handle these things? Okay, how can we handle these drop downs and as well as how can we handle this particular stuff? So the simple point, let's start with the first scenario, how we are going to handle the checkboxes. So I'm opening this bing.com application. Okay, and here I'm navigating to my preferences page. So this is the page which contains checkboxes, drop downs and all those things. See here it has a search suggestion checkbox where in which by default it is in a checked mode. I would like to uncheck that checkbox. Okay, I would like to uncheck that particular checkbox. How can we achieve this? Okay, how can we achieve this? How can we uncheck a particular checkbox? Copy the application URL first. Create a new program. So new class web5 with the main methods. And here I'm creating an object to my WebDriver. WebDriver space driver is equal to new Firefox driver. Driver.manage.window.maximize. I'm trying to maximize my browser instance. And then driver.get. I'm trying to open up this URL. And then once after we opened this URL, now here is a checkbox. I would like to uncheck that. But I don't want to use a command directly. Here we don't have any separate commands to change the status of a checkbox. Okay, to change the status of a checkbox, just we are going to use a click command which will toggle the status. Okay, we are going to use just a click command which will toggle the status of a checkbox. So here, before that, I would like to check whether it is in a checked mode or not. If the checkbox is checked, then only perform uncheck operation. But how come we know whether it got checked or not? We have an is selected command which we can use it for either radio buttons or checkboxes. This method will return either true or a false. That's it. What it is gonna return? If the checkbox is checked, then it will return true. Else false. Okay, else false. If it is in a checked mode, it will return a true, else it will return a false to the console. That's it. So here, right click on this objects, inspect element with a firebug. It is having ID is equal to ENAS. Copy this. So driver.find element by.id. As we noticed that driver.find element is a web element. So to cross check, whenever you mouse over on a find element, it is displaying a web element. It means the return type of a method. So here I am mentioning it as a web element. CH is equal to. Okay, I just stored it in a web element ch is equal to. Web element ch is equal to driver dot find element by dot id. That's it. I just specified here. Once we are done, now ch dot is selected, which will return either true or false. So I'm storing it in a boolean x is equal to, and I'm giving a condition. If x, the value present in a x variable is true, then ch dot click. See, the only thing is, instead of directly entering a driver dot find element something like that, I am using a variable ch, which we are calling it as a web element, as it is storing the object information. As it is storing the object information, we are just adding this one here. Ch dot web element. That's it. Ch dot click. And here I am printing system.out.println. Unchecked this checkbox successfully. Okay, unchecked this checkbox successfully. That's it. Done. Now, at last, after the thing, I would like to terminate my browser too. Before terminating the browser, I have to use a thread.sleep for some time. I have to use a thread.sleep for some time to terminate the browser instance. Fine. Done up to here. Okay, so we just terminated this browser instance. Okay, cool. Now, let me run this program. Run as a Java application. It's getting executed and this checkbox went into an unchecked mode and it terminated the browser. Okay, so ultimately is selected is a command which we are using to check out whether the checkbox is in a checked mode or not, and later based on that status we are using a click command to toggle the status. Okay, is this point clear for everybody, or do you have any specific questions for me on this? Guys, is this point clear for you all? Cool. Done up to here. So the next scenario we have is handling of a drop downs. See, we have both the checkbox and a drop down on the same page. See, if you scroll down, you can find an English drop down, which is a display language drop down. So what I am doing means, I am copying the code from the previous script and I am going to create a new program on top of that. So I just copied the whole code, from which I will remove unnecessary things. I am creating a new class, web6. Here I am pasting this information. Okay, whatever we have copied, I just pasted that. This code contains object creation and then opening of an application and at last terminating the browser too. Okay, fine. So the next point is, okay, that's fine. Once after we open the application, how can we select a value from a drop down? We can select a value from drop down using, the first one is a keys command and the second one is select a class. Okay, you can use a keys command or we can use a select a class to select a drop down. So keys, we can select a value from a drop down and even we can enter a value to a text field. For that particular purpose we are using this keys command. Okay, select a class. Okay, Now let me show you an example for send keys. Right click on a drop down, inspect element with a firebug. It is having an ID property, copy it. Driver dot find element by dot ID. What is the ID property? Here I have this as a dot send keys. From the drop down I have a DANSK. So I am entering as a DANSK. That's DANSK. I just specified this one. So when I run this script, it will select a value from a drop down with the name as a DANSK. Okay, it will select a value from a drop down with the name as a DANSK. Okay, and it terminated the browser too. Okay, fine. Cool. Okay, fine. Done up to here, guys. So once we are done up to here, the another point is, okay, we use the send keys. How can I use a selector class? So let me copy this whole code and I am creating a new program, web 7, and here this is my drop down location. Driver dot find element by dot ID, which is a drop down location. Okay, driver dot find element by dot ID, which is a drop down location. Okay, now I'm storing this drop down location in a web element. dd is equal to, okay, dd is a web element which we have stored. Okay, dd is a web element which we have stored. Now, in order to use a selector class, we need to create an object to a selector class. Selector space s is equal to new select. But for this selector class, we need to pass on which drop down you want to apply this class. Hence, I am giving it as a dd. So it means the meaning here is select a class, we are giving it as a dd. So it means I'm importing this selector class. The objective is on which object you want to use this selector class. Means specify the drop down location to this. Okay, specify the drop down location to this. Okay, web element dd driver dot find element by dot id s dot s is equal to. So this is how we are gonna specify here. Done. And then the next point of what we need to consider is, okay, that's fine. S dot select by index, select by value, and a select by visible text. Index. So which value? I'm making it as a 0th index. After the 0th index, I am asking it to wait for these many seconds. S dot select by value. Each and every object in the drop down will have a unique value property. So select by its value property. So here you have a plus symbol. See, whenever you click on this expand, it is displaying all the drop down values from where I am capturing the value property for CATALA and I am specifying in my program. And after that, finally I need to go for a visible text, hence I am giving English directly. And now when I run my script, what are all the values we have specified? it will run the script on all those values. See, CHALA, English, everything is done, it will terminate the browser. So whatever values you have specified, it will select that. The only thing is selecting a value from a drop down, and here we are using this select class. Select by its index, select by its value, select by its visible text. That's it. So these are all the various select commands we have. See, if you remember, in order to import the required packages, you need to use Control plus Shift plus O. Press Control Shift and O from your keyboard, automatically the required packages will be imported. Okay, automatically the required packages will be imported. Okay, Control plus Shift plus O is the keyboard shortcut key to import. Cool. Guys, is this point clear for everybody, or do you have any questions here? Or do you want me to explain any of these concepts once again? Is everything clear for you all? Cool. And guys, one more thing is, we are going to conduct a Java backup session. Okay, Java backup session. So we are splitting this one into 2 days. The day one, Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is Friday at 5 a.m. IST. There's the first day. And the day 2 is on Friday at 8:30 p.m. EST, which is Saturday at 6 a.m. IST onwards. So on your Friday, we don't have any planned session. I would like to take a Java backup session for you all, where majority of the people are having a couple of questions on Java. So I don't want to take session on a Friday. I just want to convert the Friday session as a Java backup session. And WebDriver backup session, 1 day, and it is on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, which is a Sunday at 7 a.m. IST. All the same time. These two are the backup sessions. Okay, so this is for Java backup session, and this is for WebDriver backup session. So you people can use the same meeting details for these backup sessions. Okay, you people can use the same meeting details for the backup sessions. Okay, fine. Done. So this is the first info which I have. So even I will share you this info in an email, which will be helpful for you all. Okay, so I'm just sending this one, backup session details for next 3 days. Okay, backup session details for the next 3 days. So I'm just sending this email. If at all you would like to attend this backup session, you people can just use this and join the session. Okay, our regular meeting details itself. We are not changing any meeting details. Okay, both the WebDriver and the Java backup we have. Cool. Done up to here. See, depending on your need, okay, depending on your choice, it will import either 1 or 2 statements. Okay, for suppose, see here, okay, for suppose, assume that I'm Control plus Shift plus O. See, I don't have this web driver and a Firefox driver. This time, as of now, my 3 import statements are there, and now whenever I press Control plus Shift plus O, it is importing 2 statements. One is for WebDriver and another one is for Firefox driver. So depending on the need or else depending on the command, it will be adding. Okay, fine. Done up to here. Fine. Done up to here, guys. So this is the basic thing, and we have a couple more scenarios on this drop. In the meantime, I got a question from one of you stating that what is a web element DD? See, let me explain you this concept before ending up. So let this Eclipse editor load. Okay. So web element 7. See, in this script, driver dot find element. You know that always a driver dot find element is the one which will hold object information, right? A driver dot find element is the one which will hold the object information. It is holding the object information, hence we are storing it in a web element. I can give any name, either D, DD, X, Y, P, Q, R, whatever the name might be, we can give it. So the ultimate DD contains the entire drop down information is there on that particular object. The entire drop down information is there on that particular object. That's it. So which we are calling it as a web element.
Can you share my screen, Surendra?
Sure. Just give me a minute. I'm making
Thank you.
this a presenter. So try to download the setup. It will ask you to download something, right? Go ahead and download the things. Okay. So
Okay. Yeah, are you hearing me?
yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, actually, Surendra, I'm trying to, today I was practicing the RC, and when I tried to, look the main control, space, look, it says that no default, my shortcut is not being used. It's not working.
Okay. So it's stating that the no components are available. So so are you facing issue with this one or anything else? So here
Yeah, that's my issue.
problem, the mistake what you did over here is generally in order to
Mm-hmm.
get a main method, it should be under a class. That's what we discussed, right? So here, go to
Yeah.
the second line, go to the second line. You have a
Mm-hmm.
comment there, right? Remove that comment from the second line. Second line.
No, this.
Yeah, remove that and add it in a fourth line. Add that one in a fourth line.
1, 2, 3, 4. Here, right?
4. Add that one in a fourth line above the public static void, or else here on a public static void main add yeah, there only add that comment, and the
Mm-hmm.
next line also add two slashes. Just add two slashes for the fifth line and a eighth line too. Fifth line,
Here.
yeah, the fifth one, public static void main is there, right? So that's an existing one.
Mm-hmm.
So delete that, or else a public static void main, the braces, yeah, those three lines, delete it.
Delete this.
Yeah,
This three line, right?
these three lines, delete those three lines only. Code from those three lines.
Yeah, they selected, right?
So
These three. Surendra. These
yeah,
three.
delete it.
Okay.
And including the next braces also. You have a one ending braces, right? Above the main, you have one brace. Yeah, the last one, delete it. Now, after main, press Control space. Now this time try.
Yeah, it's working.
See the simple.
And one more thing, in example one, thank you, Surendra. And one more thing, what this means, the string cannot be resolved to a type.
Okay, can you please remove that mouse over? I can't see what is there in an eighth line.
Oh,
We see the thing is string the starting character is S. Try to change that S character to an uppercase in a string. You have a given a string B is equal to Ashok Reddy. So in a string S should be in an uppercase. Just change it to an uppercase. It will fix that.
yeah, now it's working. Thank you, Surendra.
Fine.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and the another point is uh, as you people started practicing this WebDriver and a Java concepts now, if possible, try to attend the Java backup sessions, whatever I have a schedule. That would be helpful for you people to understand the concept more easily. And even tomorrow, the first 20 minutes, I will consider the session as a doubt clarification
Hello.
for you all. Okay, so I will make the first 20-minute session as a doubt clarification session.